Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in opposition to H.R. 1048, the Deterrent Act. Let's acknowledge, first of all, the elephant in the room. Just last month, the Secretary of Education fired half of the department staff. And last week, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at dismantling the entire department. This administration is actively working to eliminate an agency that has long been the cornerstone of ensuring that every child in America has access to a quality education. Today we're discussing a bill that would add even more responsibility to the very department that you're trying to destroy. It's almost as if you're trying to dismantle the agency, but at the same time recognizing its critical role and piling on additional duties. This is not only nonsensical, but reckless. You can't argue that the Department of Education is unnecessary and then hand it more work, expecting it to function without staff, resources, or the leadership that it needs. This Congress has a responsibility to address the many pressing issues that students face, like closing the achievement gaps, improving college affordability, and ending gun violence in schools. Instead, we find ourselves considering bills that target vulnerable groups, and now this bill, which risks isolating America from the global partnerships in research and education. Instead of requiring institutions to report foreign gifts or contracts large enough to exert any influence, the bill before us would require institutions to report gifts of any value from people who are not U.S. citizens if they are from a list of, quote, countries of concern, a list that is difficult to find and will be very difficult to keep track of because it is subject to change. The Department of Education has already lost half its staff, and if this bill passes, it would have to process an exponentially larger number of reports than it has to process already. Now, how can we place these new responsibilities on an agency that's being hollowed out, and how can we expect it to manage these complex issues when the institution is being dismantled? H.R. 1048 would also impose burdensome and unnecessary penalties on institutions for working with international scholars and organizations. Since faculty really don't know their colleagues' citizenship status, it is reasonable to believe that discrimination will follow, and institutions will be incentivized from hiring talented international faculty. Now, Mr. Speaker, present law already requires reporting of any gift large enough to exert any influence over a university, and this bill requires the reporting of gifts of any value, that is, a cup of coffee, a donut, from people who are from so-called countries of concern, and requires the Department of Education to process all of those reports. The same Department of Education that just lost half its staff. And if the problem is millions of dollars in unreported gifts, requiring the reporting of free donuts cannot be the answer. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I reserve the balance of my time.